G'day and welcome to our video on how to use the Fight with Spirit online play doc. So Fight with Spirit is actually easy to play online, but to do so you're going to need two things. The first one is the online play document. And this document is going to be everything that you need outside of matches. So it replaces your team sheet and your character sheet. It contains all the information about your major characters, their traits, conditions, your team, your collaboration choices, and lots more. The second thing you'll need is a virtual tabletop platform such as Roll20 or playingcards.io that players can use during the match. And you'll set this up with all the match materials for use during that part of the game. In this video, I'm going to be explaining how to use the online play doc, but I do have additional videos explaining how to upload everything to your virtual tabletop and how to set that up for matches in the easiest and quickest way. So if you're at that stage, go check those out as well. But let's start today with the online play document. So when you open up the online play document, you will end up here on the Start Here tab. And this tab just contains all the information about how to play Fight with Spirit online, links to all the tutorial videos, and this neat little checklist of everything that you will need to do before you are ready to play online. Now, to set up the online play document itself, all you need to do is first make a copy of the document, which you can do by going File, Make a Copy. And once you've made a copy and you've saved that in your drive, then you will just need to share this with your players and make sure that they have editing permissions. And to do this, you can just go up to this big share button up there, hit that, and then down under general access, you want it to say anyone with the link, and then click editor, and then copy link, and just share this link with your players, and they'll all be able to access that same online play document. So once everyone has accessed that, you're ready to start your game with collaboration. So let's move over to the collaboration tab. Collaboration contains three sections. We have the group decisions section, the teams and tournament choices, and then the individual preferences for the game. And on the side, you'll also see some useful sidebars about safety tools and about how to handle the decisions you make in collaboration during the game and how to update those as well. So just like you would if you were playing offline, you'll move through the group decisions section first, and you can just use these drop downs to select the option you want to choose for your game. And as you select these, you will see that the description changes so you can see the meaning of the option you've selected. If you need more information about a particular collaboration choice, you will see that some of these boxes have got this black arrow on the corner. And what that means is that we have left a note on that cell with a bit more explanation. So if you just hover over that, you will see that a note will pop up with text there that explains a lot more about that option. So once you've worked through each of these, then you'll be ready to choose your teams and set up your tournament. You'll start there by picking a team to play, for example, the Ashpoint Arrows here, and then you'll choose which teams you're going to play in the quarterfinals, the semis, and the grand finals. And once you've decided that, it's on to the individual preferences section. So this has three parts. Firstly, what do we want to avoid in our game? People can just pick any cell and type in here things that they don't want to see, and that's going to be completely anonymous for them, so people don't have to call out things that they don't want to see if they don't want to. The next section is how you feel about romance involving your characters, and here every player just takes a line and picks the right option for them. And then lastly, what do we want to see in our game? The good stuff. And again, every player just takes a line and they can put their wishes here about what they want to see during the game. And when that's done, you finish collaboration successfully. So it's time to move on to backstory. And the first step of backstory is fleshing out your team. So to do this, you'll want to go to the tab for your team. So in this case, say we're playing the Ashpoint Arrows, you'll use this Arrows team tab. And you'll see here that there are also team tabs for the other teams. You can leave these in your game for reference about the other teams if you want, or you can also just hide them. I usually choose to hide them, so to do that, you just right-click the tab and then click Hide Sheet. So I'll hide the other teams now, and we'll jump into the Arrows sheet. So here you can see for the Ashpoint Arrows, there's the Ashpoint backstory, and then there is a questions about the coach and practice area, and again you can just choose from the drop downs here, and then the relationships to the other teams, and again you can choose these by using the drop downs here. And then up here you'll find the place to put the team special when you get to that after completing your major characters. And then over here are the sidebars, which have the recommended starting traits for the arrows if it's the first time you've played them, and also remind you what the unique team match games are, so you can upload those to your virtual tabletop as well. So that's the team section. It's pretty straightforward. So we'll get on to characters and creating your characters. So the characters tab is definitely the most complex tab. So I'll walk through a major character and explain everything that is going on here, and then I'll explain the other parts of the tab. So up the top here, you have room for your major character's name, their pronouns, their token trackers for trouble, fight, and spirit. And again, there are the notes if you hover over trouble, spirit, or fight that remind you what those different things do in the game. Here is spot for your character's picture. Here you can indicate what team they're from. So in our game, from the Ash Point Arrows, fill in their position in the team and their school year and age. Now, if you scroll down, you will see the spot for your character's traits and conditions. Choosing a trait is really easy. You just choose from the drop-down list here. Now, you'll know in Fight with Spirit, there are two kinds of traits. There are traits with orange relationship questions that will help you form a relationship with another major character. And then there are traits with pink relationship questions, which means you form a relationship with a connection. So you can see here which traits have orange relationship questions and which ones have pink. And this is important because each major character must have at least one trait with a orange relationship question that will connect them with another major character. So that's very easy to see. So we could choose, for example, the trait Quitter Returns and then maybe Back from Disgrace. Up here, you'll find a section for relationships, and this is to keep track of the relationships that have come from your traits, but can also be ones that you've gotten from other people's traits. So for example, who have you taken under your wing? Maybe you've taken Bethany under your wing. So you put here, Bethany, I've taken her under my wing. Or you could choose another way of describing it. So when you finish your traits, you can tick this box for completed trait, and it'll pop up here with the instructions for what you do when you complete a trait. So you need to take one spirit, so you'll mark that in your spirit tracker above, and then choose whether to take one fight or take a condition. And for this, you're going to use the side drop down here. So you'll see here, you can choose, right now it's set to trait, you can set it to condition or +1 fight. Now if you choose to take the fight, you'll see a box will pop up over here, and that shows that you have that fight available, and when you use it, you can just untick that box there. If you choose to take a condition, then you just select condition here, and then the conditions will appear, and you can choose the one that you would like. Now it might happen if you are using the Not Like This match game, that you will get a condition from that match game. And if that happens, then you simply select condition from the drop down, you select your condition as usual, and then you tick this Not Like This box. And what this does is it'll gray out your fight and spirit to remind you that you cannot use fight and spirit until the condition is completed. And when you complete condition from Not Like This, you simply untick this box and it'll make your fight and spirit available. Now, as well as these two spots, if you are playing a full tournament that is all 3 matches, you will have the option to take an additional trait. So you can unhide spots for the additional traits by clicking the little plus here. And then you might also need a 4th slot in some cases if you have an extra condition from Not Like This. So you can use the plus again to unhide this 4th slot. Now underneath the traits, you will see your connections. Here you start with the connection name and their pronouns, and then connection type, so teammate, rival, or other, such as maybe a parent or a coach. But let's say we're making a rival from the Dockside Demons, so we pick that there. We'd fill out their relationship to the major character, the position in their team, school year, and age. Over here, there is a section that you can use to write the description and further notes about the connection. Or you can also choose to use this spot for a character picture. And if you do and you want more room for a description, you can press this little plus box here and it'll unhide an extra row that you can use for description and further notes about the connection. If you are playing a full tournament, again, you may create a 3rd connection during the game. So you can press the plus here to open up the 3rd connection slot for that. Underneath that, there's just one more thing in the major characters section, and that is the backstory worksheet. And you'll only use this during backstory and also if you add a 3rd trait during the game. And it's pretty simple. It just contains the backstory questions from your trait and then some room for you to put your answers. So you'll have this for reference, but also you can take the most salient points and put them up the top in the description and further notes section about your character. So that's everything from major characters. However, there are a few more things in the sheet that you should know about. By default, there are 3 major characters showing. However, you can add a 4th one by clicking this plus up here. And then if a facilitator is playing a rival character and you need space for that, you can press the plus to open up a 5th major character slot. As well as that, there are a few other little nifty things here. Firstly, you have your cycle of play tracker that you can mark off as you move through the different phases, and that will help you know where you're at in the game. And again, these have these little notes that will pop up if you hover over them, and they will contain a little summary of what it is that you do during that phase as a handy reminder. You'll also see the daily life options here if you're going through daily life as part of the daily life and event phase. There is a spot over here for the facilitator to keep track of their trouble tokens if they're not playing a major character. We also have a spot where you can keep track of the upcoming match. So for this, you will need to change the round. So of course, you'll start off in the quarters and it will automatically put your opponent in there. But once you move on to the semis, just change that and it'll update your opponent. And then finally, the grand finals. So that is pretty much everything there is to know about this sheet. However, if you are the kind of person who is interested in hacking the game or messing around with changing things, there is one more thing I do want to show you, and that is the data tab. So the data tab is hidden by default, but you can unhide it by clicking this little button here and selecting data. And here you will see all the raw information that populates the other tabs. I would recommend here writing over things rather than putting things in different sections, because that way it'll automatically pull in and you won't have to worry about any of the formulas. The only thing you really shouldn't touch is these sections here, which say don't change manually. And those are automatically populated based on what you've written elsewhere. Other than that, go crazy, make cool new things, and then show us. So that is everything that you need to know about how to use the online play document for Fight with Spirit. I hope that was helpful. You can check out our videos on how to set up and use a virtual tabletop platform for the matches section of the game, and then you will be ready to go, ready to play. We hope you have heaps of fun with the game and you tell us all about the great sports drama that you create. Bye now.